some intimacy lessons coming through around how to think about conflict, especially if you are committed to pleasure and intimacy and some of the like uncover buzzwords around, a life that feels really beautiful and really intimate and really pleasurable. And if those are these kind of guiding principles and touch points, like what happens when you're in a relationship where conflict is coming up? It's like one thing to be pleasure focused when your world is bubble baths and romantic dates and, conversations about just like how much you love each other all the time. And then there is this, in my opinion, deeper, better question in a lot of ways around how we show up with intimacy when it's not feeling like roses and bubble baths, or when it is, but it's also feeling like all these other things. And there are all these kinds of feelings of like heartbreak and heartache, like I think there is really such a real aching and such a real pain that can come when you feel hurt, or you feel your abandonment wounds kicking in, or your I'm not good enough wounds kicking in. All these different facets of what I consider intimacy wounds that show up so many places. Of course it shows up in romance, but in friendships, I can't even tell you how many clients and friends I've helped walk through really applying intimacy healing work to rupture that's come from feeling left behind by a friend, feeling, broken up with by a friend, and fighting with a friend, being let down by a friend, kind of like not being who we thought they were, or growing in ways where like now there's this distance. And the same things come up in business, especially if you're a coach and your work is about connecting in an intimate way, which I know, not everybody in my world is an intimacy coach like me. But even if you're working on money, or you're working on health, or you're working on the relationship that somebody has to their purpose or their life or their parents, it's like those are some of our most intimate conversations, that like inner dialogue that our clients are having with all the pieces of them. And that's really the intimacy healing I'm the most interested in, is like gathering all the pieces of you from all the different places that they've been scattered, or it's felt like you had to hide, and like bringing them in. But what that means is that a lot of the same intimacy wounds show up in our business, or in our friendships, or in our relationships, or with our money, all across the board. And sometimes we've like really consciously been able to heal intimacy in one area, and then we'll see a pattern play out in another and think like, that's familiar. Like that feels really, like I've seen this before. I'm getting deja vu. I feel the same way. Like this, this coach said something to me, or this client said something to me, and it kicks up a feeling almost like when my father said that to me, or my husband, or my ex-girlfriend, or whatever it is. And it's not because you're losing your mind, and it's not because you're just going around in circles. It's that this is how intimacy functions, and this is how we heal it. So even though it's so hard, what I really want to leave you with as a kind of intimacy lesson here is that every conflict, every kind of moment of like hitting up against some other desire, whether that's like even just internal conflict, like I don't know if I want this or not, but especially when it's conflict like with another person, with somebody you love, with a group, with a slice of your life. You know that every conflict is actually a chance for you to really root in and see, like, where is this a mirror for parts of me that I am still getting to know more deeply? What is this other person telling me they need? What do I need? And like, what are the feelings that are getting kicked up around this that can actually help me love more deeply and can help me root even more deeply into my intimacy, into my commitments, into my leadership? Not that you're the leader in necessarily every relationship, but we're always leading ourselves. You know, if you're in a program, you're leading yourself to be the best client. If you're in a friendship, you're leading yourself to be a friend that you would want to have. And if you're in a romantic relationship, you may be having fun being led in certain ways, which can be super sexy, but you're always leading yourself as that kind of vulnerable, intimate partner.